Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to head into the Temperate Greenhouse, and I'm going to give you a Temperate Greenhouse fall tour. We can see what's kind of going on in here. It has been a really warm fall, so things aren't as dormant as I would expect for, the first week in November. But some things are definitely starting to go dormant, and other things are not. But yeah, so this is the Temperate Greenhouse. I don't know if we've had a real tour in here. This is my new greenhouse that's in the sort of lean-to side of my house. My house is right here. It's kind of weird. You can see my plants on the inside. So first thing I notice is this window bleeds some extra heat out here into this side of the greenhouse, into this greenhouse. So it's really warmer than outside anyways. But yeah, it's not full yet. I don't even know if I showed you my new shelving in here. I did that video with a really rickety shelving in the summertime. So I did end up going with the baker's rack here. And I got 3 shelves and 1, 2, 4 levels on each shelf. And the plan eventually will be to turn the trays this way and have 1, 2, 3 like this you see on all of the shelves. So they kind of stick out a little bit, but that's okay. It's going to lead to, I forget how many trays I was able to put in here. The old greenhouse had like 6 trays, and this one will have 3, 6, 9, 12 per shelf, so it'll have 36 trays instead of like 4 or 6 at the most. So yeah, let's get busy though. Let's there's a few orchids down here, some collagenés down there, a little plumeria that is definitely starting to go dormant. It won't be able to stay out here all winter. The plumeria is just too tropical for that. Some hardy tequilas are down there. They will be able to stay out all winter. So those are kind of nice. Really interesting. Just one of those like new things I decided to try this year. And the deal with them is they just, in the wintertime, they can handle the cold. They just can't handle it wet. And here in BC outside, it is super wet. So in the greenhouse with no rain, they'll be fine. You may see a few cephalotus in here. I'm trying something new with them this year. They're getting kind of weaker and weaker. Over the past couple years, they weren't growing so robust. I think I was keeping them too warm. They did spend 1 year on the actual warm side of the greenhouse in like lowland conditions, and I think it really slowed them down. So this year, again, it's frost free in here, but they're going to get some cold weather, and they're starting to kind of die back a bit now. I took a bunch of leaf pullings before I put them out here, and I have a full tray out here, not just these couple. And yeah, so they're not gonna be out here for frost, maybe another few weeks, and then I'll move them somewhere warmer again. But I just want them to get that little bit of a winter chill that they haven't had before, and I want to see if it makes any difference. I hear they really color up when it's cold and bright, so we'll see. This is my new Darlingtonia Orthello. This is an antho-free, so it has no reds in it. It's just going to be green. The flowers on them, when it gets to flowering size, are going to be yellow, not red. So that's kind of cool. Some of my Venus flytraps here. So for me in this area, Venus flytraps are always going through different phases. And you're going to find I'm like behind on trimming and stuff like that. There's a lot of dead out here starting. But Venus flytraps, they are always going through seasonal changes here in BC for me. So in the summertime, they get these big, huge, long traps on the long stems. And then come fall, all those traps start to die back. And they get these short little winter traps. Still some good sized pictures, but very short, ground hugging traps. And that's the way they're going to look for the winter time. You can see like this one looks like crap. It had some nice long ones. This is I think a B52 maybe, and now it's just got a few little ones down here. But that's sort of the story for them. All these big ones are gonna die, and I'll have to trim them off because they just look ugly. And we end up with these little short ones down there. So then they go through that for the winter, and then come spring, guess what happens? All these little short ones, they die, look like crap, and then at the same time they're sending out some big long ones again for the summertime. So we definitely have two kinds of traps going on. Here's another good example. Look at the summertime traps here, and then the wintertime traps. Those were big plants this summer, and now they're pretty small. So anyways, the flytraps aren't looking bad. Few sundews out here in the purpurea. So these guys, they don't, that's going to be about as brown as their leaves probably are going to get. They don't die back every year. My bonita, on the other hand, does. And yeah, it's kind of it's a fork sundew, so it's got some extra forks in it on some of them, and I don't know, some of them it doesn't, but it's about ready to go dormant. So this guy, these things can handle frost pretty easily, and I don't think they have to, but they do, and they can. I've got a utricularia out here. This is Prelonga. I'm doing a test with this Prelonga. Apparently it takes some cold weather to make it bloom. So I've got this spread out in a few different greenhouses, but this is by far going to be the coldest greenhouse. And other Sarracenia is just starting to go dormant. Citacina is not going to lose its traps. Here's my big sort of pot of Citacinas. And yeah, some seedlings of different various sizes. A bit smaller ones down there. Sarracenias, they are starting to go dormant. I took a lot out of my bog pots and put in here. So we're gonna have to see, but usually these guys all get a big haircut and get chopped right down, but some of them they're just not ready. The Oreophilas and the Flavas are definitely ready. You can see they're pretty much dead. Here's another, this is either Oreophila or Flava as well. And that one can be chopped off, and you leave the green leaves down here. These are the winter leaves. A little seedling size Leucophila is definitely looking good. These guys don't, they're late pitchers. So yeah, they keep their pitchers looking good really late into the season. Some other bigger ones over here. The Flavas are starting to fade. And the hybrids are still looking okay. But they will all get a buzz cut. And then they can go down a shelf and get stored lower, stuff like that. Here is another tray of Cephalotus. So again, I think they're kind of feeling the cold for sure. There's a bit of new growth coming off. As I say, I did some leaf pullings on them and cleaned off all the old, and did some repotting and stuff like that just before I put them out here. So they're kind of still getting settled in. I see the odd yellow pitcher, and I just remove those when they appear. But yeah, I won't leave them out forever. They're definitely not going to stay out here all winter. But yeah, I just want to see the difference. I want to experiment and see how much more robust they get by having this like a winter cool down. This spot's nice. It's selected because the sun is that way south. So on a sunny day, which today is not, these guys still get some really nice direct sun. And yeah, some more Venus flytraps starting to show their wear as well. A whole bunch of B52s in there, and some other various assorted ones, Titans and Southwest Giants, and yeah, other stuff. Another huge collagen orchid down there. My wife threw her winter lettuce out here. We'll see how it does. A few palm trees, but as you can see, I've got lots of space still. Now, why don't we use the last few minutes of this video to go out back, and I'll show you the stuff that still is eventually going to come in here. Okay? Okay, we are on my back patio, my back deck now, and things are moved under the sheltered area here. And that is not due to cold, but due to the rains that we get here. So, a few orchids out here, some bidiums getting some winter chills. This one has just completely left me. What is that one? Zygopetalum is getting a winter chill. My cobra lilies of various sizes, some oak leaves are blowing in them. They're all still out here getting some chills. But these guys, those are going to go in the big greenhouse. I don't want them to freeze. The cobra lilies, they can handle some cold weather. So I'll let them stay out here a little bit longer, then I'll put them in the temperate greenhouse because I want to control the rain, and I don't want it quite so cold. If it gets to like below 0, the greenhouse will definitely still be just above 0 sort of thing probably. Some seedlings down there, getting their first dormancy. An experiment, I put one cobra lily in a big pot to see what it does over the next couple of years. And one of the more delicate things that we have to winter over here is my cypripedium orchids. So in the wintertime, they are going to like it cold but dry or drier. So if you look down here, this one's getting borderline. I can just barely go down here and it's still wet, but it's dry on top. These other ones are still pretty wet on top, so they're definitely not getting any kind of splash of water anytime soon. Now, we don't have many cypripediums growing in the wild where I live because our winters are not cold enough. Well, they're probably cold enough, just barely, but they're too wet. Everything would rot here, so I have to keep these guys under cover. The rest of Canada, when winter comes, everything, like the moisture gets locked up as ice, so they don't rot, where here it doesn't get locked up as ice. So I need to trim all these guys, and you'll be able to see like there's already next year's growth starting down there. So I need to protect that a little bit. And I got to be careful when I'm digging around here with my fingers as well, because that kind of growth is going to be all over the place, and if I'm poking around down here I could literally break it off. There's one, see? There's next year's growth, and there's next year's growth already ready to go. So you don't want to be poking around with your finger too much in there, or you're going to break off next year's growth. What else can I show you? The final bits of the garden have been dug up. That's tropical. And my 3 bog pots. So this one just has some Judith Hindle in and some sundews in the front. I turned it around so the sundews stay a little bit drier under the eaves here. This one I stripped pretty much clean. I think it had some linearis sundews in it, a Venus flytrap, and just a couple Sarracenias left. My leucophilas here. Ooh, wind knocked over my palm trees. Wow, these are my seedling palm trees. They're waist high now. Look at that, hey? But my leucophilas, I'm sure I can find some decent pictures on these guys still. But that's going to be it for decent pictures. So my leucophila is doing good out here. Again, I turned it around. Normally I have the sundews in the front so you can see them, but I didn't want them to get dripped on. These bog pots, they were in my little greenhouse before, and I think what's going to happen to them now, because they did do really well out there, I'm going to just pull them under cover. I'm not going to put them back in the other greenhouse. They do have a couple plugs on them, so in the summertime there's a plug, the bottom plug is in, and it allows the water level to fill quite high before it spills out just below the surface. And in the winter I've now removed the other plugs from all the bog pots, so the water is allowed to drain, and the bog pots are actually much drier, because again, the same situation here, stuff, it's too wet, it rots. So they're under cover, right? And yeah, I'm going to put them more undercover as winter goes on. A shot of the pond, the fish are inside, koi are downstairs, waterfall's turned off, and yeah, that is the backyard and everything about it. We still got some flowers out here. The fuchsias, they continue to bloom right into the late fall, but yeah, lots of leaves down on the maple trees and stuff like that. So anyways, I hope you like this temperate tour, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye guys.